Alright, so this is the current iteration of the EasyGME player for the ReactNative project. And this is a small snapshot of some of the JavaScript that is required to represent something like this guy. This is very incomplete, but it kind of shows you in a little bit, I'll show you in a little bit what this actually does and how it works. So let's go back really quickly to the actual directory structure. So a while back I walked you through, or I guess for the folks who watch this, I walked you through the FS Explorer implementation a little bit. That is, he is the guy that actually looks through the file system and brings back JSON to represent in this list view. What's changed is that I've included this interface class to this thing called GME player, and the interface class is going to give us an opportunity to have the React code interact with the GME player. And what we do is we use this RC export macro to export methods to the JavaScript, effectively bridging Objective-C with JavaScript. Super easy to use, and I'm so glad that the Facebook team has implemented this so nicely. Compared to things like Cordova or PhoneGap, this is probably the easiest JavaScript to web view or JavaScript to Objective-C bridge that I've ever used. So fantastic job there. Anywho, what we do is I implemented a method called getGameInfo. So as soon as you press on this, there is a bunch of data that gets passed back to the view, including the track information. Let me see if I can actually get a game loaded that has a track that we can view. Let's see if some of these guys are named. I can't promise that they are, though. Okay, well, the songs weren't named, but nonetheless, all the tracks that are listed in the NSF file are actually now represented in the view by means of this counter. And eventually I will figure out a way to stuff in things like the song name and copyright and author and so on and so forth. But what's interesting is we get the information using the player interface getGameInfo method, and it returns back the data. And then from there we actually push into the Navigator instance a component that basically is var reference to the result of this generate player function. And essentially what he does is he just returns a React class which merges the properties as the pass config. And the properties that are passed is just this plain object. We're just taking a JavaScript object that we get back from the getInfo and we just merge it in. And that's actually a known property in the props object for the class, where you define the actual class. So from there I was able to add, play, pause, next, and previous. So that is, we go to play a file, we stop it, or pause it, it resumes. Rather simple in how this works. Ignore the to-dos. Basically, the GME player class will go ahead and stop and start the audio cue right here. So here's pause, here's start, and this is basic iOS stuff. All I did was in the GME player interfaces expose that. It is the current design where the GME player is actually a singleton. There's no need to have multiple items instantiated. We just need one feed for audio. So we can jump to the next track, or we can jump to the previous one. And we can do that while playing. And while a song is playing, we could load another file. So that's the current implementation. I'm hoping to get the waveform viewers actually rendered here. There's some knowledge that I need to gain on how to actually bridge that. The code for that is in the prototype and actually exists to convert the stereo SINT16 data type to the floating points necessary, so I need to create an interface method for that. But nonetheless, this is ready to go. So this has been a fantastic project. Things are going well. I've been running a React instance in this view for a while. I've been just hitting Command R to refresh, and it works magically. And memory has not been an issue too badly. I think I've gotten to 100 megs total of onboard system memory. Hasn't seemed to be a problem. So what's neat about this is that, and I realized that the end users wouldn't see this, but because the sound player is a singleton in the background, I can load a file, hit Command R, and it's still playing because naturally Command R is not like refresh the browser where you lose everything. It's just refreshing the private DOM or virtual DOM anyway. So much more to come on this, and thanks for watching.